Hello, family. So, uh, I want to show a couple of quick updates before talking about stuff. I've been making more terrariums, enclosed terrariums. These ones are with plants I actually purchased and kind of planned for. So one of them is an Oxalis vulcanicola bicolor, and I don't know if you saw, but like the leaves are kind of like they might look dying, but they're not. They're half pink, half brown, and that's just the way the plant is colored. And then there's this one, which is a little bigger, which is a Begonia prismatic carpa, which both of these do well in humid environments. That's why they're good for this sort of thing. But that one is supposed to grow like little stalks with little yellow sort of clam-shaped flowers. And then there's the one that I've had for a while now, this guy, which, is completely overgrown and is actually going through a stage right now where some of the grass and plant life in there is dying off and then new seeds are dropping. So that one's been around for like a year or two. Projects wise, still painting the DM board. We've changed the color of the dragon from yellow to copper. Those projects over there are still going on. I was waiting on parts. And then life-wise and apartment-wise, no big changes. Still waiting to hear back on things. But I wanted to do two things. I wanted to kind of show a little sneak peek into some things. You guys know that I've been like trying to figure things out, career and living location and hobbies and interests wise and health and all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to give a sneak peek into some of those things and how I'm going about them. And I guess this is one of them. This is a interests web. So it's basically a web of a bunch of my interests and links between things that kind of have something to do with each other. So like video games, social, politics, game dev, robotics, biology, ecology, arts, writing, film, and then like their subsets, right? So like, for example, something between like writing and the social, one of the subsets is like the Oklahoma group. So writing and the Oklahoma group is D&D. And I'm trying to figure out ways that I can kind of like use certain activities to cover multiple of my interests to try to find a better balance between things, because I want to do them all, but I also overwhelm myself with too much stuff to do. And then this is a very short list of some of my projects that I've got ongoing. So like the hydroponic garden, the Star-Lord helmet, painting the DM board, the tool organization cart, stuff like that. And I wanted to show those because I actually have quite a few of those types of things, like lists and webs and charts and matrices. Just trying to figure out like a good balance. And it's really hard because I'm kind of a jack of all trades and I have a lot of interests that are all pretty varied. And trying to balance that with life and social, stuff and job and being healthy and all that kind of stuff. It's very difficult. And I'm hoping that I find some means of balancing things in a way that agrees with me more sometime soon. And I know that if I do find a balance, that as I develop and as time goes on, I'm going to change and my interests will change. But I don't know. That's just a little sneak peek into how I'm trying to figure things out. I hope everyone's doing well. I know this month has been very crazy in terms of world events. I know I've not done a couple of, these for a couple of weeks. You guys haven't done them for a little while, which is okay. I'll keep doing them. But yeah, like we had the Trump assassination attempt, and we had, Biden dropped out of the race, and Kamala's now at the top of that ticket. So pretty crazy in terms of at least U.S. events. There's been a lot of other stuff going on as well. And it made me think of a couple of things. In that regard, I suppose it made me think of like, I forget where this quote comes from, but there's some quote that has something to do something like this, is like, those who, like, a lot of people say they want to live through history, like they want to live in times where history is being made, but then those that actually live in times where history is being made would prefer not to, because, you know, it's exciting to live through history in the making, but also it's hard to live through history in the making because things are uncertain, and that makes it difficult to kind of live your life. And there's a lot of crazy new stuff going on. I think we're definitely living through a fairly historical time, and we'll see how it all kind of pans out. But definitely one of those things that makes it kind of tough to like figure out where you want to go, you know, especially at kind of this my age and that kind of deal. But I also wanted to mention, you know, you guys saw I commented on Uncle Paul's post on Facebook, which I almost never interact on Facebook. But I've been a little sad recently, I mean, for a while now, about the way things are, and, you know, sort of politically, but just in general, of like, I think everyone knows, anyone who knows me knows that I'm, you know, a very liberal person in terms of my like ideals and like political beliefs. But in terms of the way that I look at people, maybe I could be considered more centrist, at least now in this day and age. I would say that at any other time, there's no way someone would consider me centrist. Like, I don't believe, or I don't promote any of the things really on the Republican side of the ticket. But because of how divisive things have become, I think that just even like entertaining the idea that a Republican who, like, at least from Democrats' perspective, that entertaining the idea that a Republican who wants to vote for Trump can still be an intelligent person who's like trying to figure stuff out or has certain beliefs, that by itself makes you more centrist, is just like entertaining the fact that that person is sort of valid. And alternatively, on the flip side, you know, on a Republican side, I think a lot of people would agree that that entertaining the idea that a Democrat is a good person or has value or is intelligent is also something that makes you more centrist. And so it's kind of this weird situation where it's like, unless you completely like denounce everyone who doesn't agree with you, that you aren't truly you don't truly hold the beliefs of whatever you believe. And I guess the thing that makes me sad is I know some people who have very different views than me, views that I do not agree with. But I know them from before all of this, and I know that a number of them I think are good people, and I think a number of them are intelligent people. And so I guess my perspective is I fundamentally strongly disagree with many of the ideals and the people that they're supporting. And so I want to understand how a person who I considered, I considered intelligent, or consider intelligent, and consider good, how can they support that? And I think the answer kind of lies within anger and fear and division, and the fact that right now all that either side sees is like the worst qualities of the other side, and they don't see necessarily what the other side is hearing. And I think a good example, I guess this actually reminded me, I've been listening to the audio book version of The Art of Logical Thinking. And there was a topic in there about like basically like understanding like the difference between like reasoning and just thinking, or like associating ideas, and the differences between like perceptions. And so, like, for example, if multiple people passed by a tree, right, a A carpenter might say, oh, that tree would make great lumber, or a tanner, like for hide, might say that tree's got good bark. Or a hunter might say that tree might have a squirrel in it, right? They all perceive the tree slightly differently based off of their experiences. And I've been watching a TV show recently that's about superheroes and stuff, but one of the villains, she's born with a power that when she drinks blood, she can transform into another person, and kind of innately has this like need or desire to drink blood. And she like thinks of it as a good thing that like comes from her affection of others. And so like no one else can understand that about her, which causes her to do horrible things. She's like shunned by society. And it's kind of this thing where it's like she just feels like society does not accept who she is. And even though the things she's doing are horrible, it's kind of this like just disconnect of perceptions, right? Like she has one view of the world and what's normal, and other people have a different view of the world and what's normal. And if they were to be able to understand each other, like when she was young, there may have still been a chance where people could have found a way to like pull her in and accept her and help her with like her condition, essentially, to make her not in the show basically a serial killer. And so I see similar things now. It's like, yeah, I very much disagree with certain beliefs, but I also understand that the people who are supporting those people or beliefs, they may not see it that way. They may not see it as supporting the kind of belief that I think they're supporting. Or, they may be hearing different things or whatever. And I think the thing that makes me the saddest is that, like, there's very little room socially nowadays to say, I want to talk about it. Like, I want to, with a level head and calmly, talk about something to reach a point of understanding and compromise that works for the group. And I think that right now, things are so divided and so much like if you don't believe what I believe, then you're wrong and I hate you. It's like, it's red team versus blue team. I think that, and maybe this is a strong take, but I think that way of thinking is pretty fundamentally against how democracy works, because democracy is a group of individuals who are basically collectively agreeing, hey, we have different beliefs, but we're going to vote, and accept the outcome, even if it goes against our beliefs, right? And, we're going to try to compromise or vote for a person that best represents, the sum total of our group. And I think that, a two-party system is not great for that, because it's either win or lose, and you end up with two halves, two sides fighting each other. And when one side wins, they do things, and then when the other side wins, they get rid of all the things the other side did and do their own things. It just goes back and forth. People argue more and more. And I really wish that we could, I know it's like this is maybe a realistic ask, but I really, really wish in an ideal world that everyone could try to calm themselves down, sit down, and talk to each other as true equals. Don't assume someone's stupid. Don't assume someone is an elitist. Don't assume someone is beneath or above you or whatever. Just sit down with whoever's across the table from you and try to understand their worldview and their point of view, even if it's one that you think is wrong, or even if it's one that you think is like evil, right? Like, just try to understand it and see if there's a way that you and that person can understand each other. And even if you agree to disagree, at least you've had the conversation and opened yourself up to different views and compromises and things. So I don't know. That was a lot. I'm at 15 minutes, so I'm sorry for how long this one is, but I wanted to talk about stuff. So I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope I see some videos from you maybe. It's okay if not. Otherwise, I'll see you in the group chat. Bye.